Hello, so welcome back. We'll continue with our work where we left in our previous video. We had made concept sketches, directional sketches of a dog's head. Uh, Here on out, what we'll do, the larger sketch, we'll start adding highlights and shadows to it. We had used the concept of simple 3D shapes to construct the head. So for now, we'll first remove those faint lines which were left over. So while removing these faint lines, we have to be careful that we don't remove any of the guiding lines, the features which we have made for the head of the dog. So that will be counterproductive. So when we are adding shadows, we will only lose sight of the features. So in this case, the sketch is pretty straightforward. It's simple, so it will not be much of a challenge. But let's say you're working with a human head or a complete body, then it becomes quite a big of a challenge. So that we need to take care of while working, while rubbing off these faint lines. So here we'll assume the light source is on the top right corner. So accordingly, the shadow will be added. We'll start adding the shadow from the bottom left corner, that's the neck, the nape region of the head. Uh, Preferably, we'll start with a 4B or a 6B pencil, so it will be more sort of a mid-tone, even though that area would be very dark. It's exactly on the opposite side of the light source. So later on, we can add uh, more contrast to it. So um, for the starting, we can maybe go with a 4B or a 6B pencil. So the stroke direction would be such that it imitates the fur of the dog. So since we are drawing a mammal, uh, we cannot completely blend the strokes away, so that it should look jagged, it should look hairy, so which kind of will imitate the dog's skin. So this part, which is right below the chin, that's the kind of the neck. Again, will have a strong dark shadow casted because of the snout. So what we are doing here, we are adding further layers to our already existing layer of fur which we made just now. So like I was saying, we start with somewhere close to maybe the mid-tone ranges, and then we add something which resembles more sort of the shadow. So let's say if you want to increase the contrast of the sketch even further, you can keep going. You can take a darker pencil, so but if you straight away go with the high contrast sketch, and those adjustments would not be straight away possible. Of course, you can rub it off with your eraser, but again, erasing does leave marks on the paper. So it's always preferable that we add these layers later on. we would employ our blender at some places to make it look a bit smoother so that it's not too rough, too jagged, especially for the sections which are a bit further away, because if it's very close to your eye level, if it's exactly at your focal point rather, I would say, so the details would be clearer. But something which is further behind, like the neck, would be would the clarity levels would be lesser, so accordingly we'll be using our blender. One more use for the blender is we can completely get away with the white background which peeks through your strokes, so you will have a grayish kind of a matrix, you would say, and on top of that we'll be adding our details using the pencil. So moving on towards the ears, the we'll take up the ear on the left first. So the interior of the ear would be slightly lighter, and as we kind of approach its skull, that area would be darker. Darker in the sense there'd be a shadow, because the auditory canal, I'm not sure exactly what it's called, that would lead straight into its skull, so that part would be darker, so it will cast a shadow there. Also, there would be strands of hair on it, so that we need to take care of. So for the face as well, we'll apply a similar logic. We'll try to create a kind of a matrix on top of which we'll be adding these strands of hair, the details. So we'll take extra care in and around the eyes, because in any sort of portraiture, the eyes is what kind of captures the attention of the viewer. We'll leave a small white space in between, which will resemble uh, the reflection from the light source. See, when drawing a furry animal, the direction of the fur is very important, and it keeps on changing when you're drawing the face. See, for the body, it's not much of a trouble. Generally, it kind of follows a similar direction with very minor changes, which anyways you would be adding to add more randomness. But for the face, let's say for the snout, the direction will be different. For the forehead, it will be different. Around the eyes, this is how we do it. So this part you have to be careful. You cannot go about the sketch while adding the direction of the fur in one monodirectional approach, which kind of in fact ruins your entire sketch. So you have to be very careful while handling the direction of the fur. Like for example, when we were doing the neck, it was moving down the neck, so we took care of that. But see, now the direction has changed, so from the corner of the eye it's spiraling around the eye sockets, and it's kind of moving down the face. For the forehead, again it will spiral up and move towards the edge of the head. See, once we have done the previous year, now the other year also kind of follows the same principle. Only thing is, the back of the ear would cast a shadow, so that you need to take care of. Another very important part of his face would be the nose. Again, you can make it a small black blob as well, but it doesn't look realistic. So we have to show both the depressions, the nostrils, and add the shadows accordingly. Also, if possible, like right now, I don't think I'll be adding too much realism to it because this is pretty beginner level. But generally, their nostrils are pretty wet, so you can add a small shiny factor to it as well. Where just like the eye, we can maybe add a small, not one single would do, because of the surface. Be the nostril would slightly be more jagged, so multiple small white specks which resemble a reflection of sort. The other eye would be kind of a easy catch since it's not entirely visible, so we don't need to work on the details much. It's partially visible from this end at least, so I think we can quickly get it done. I think that's it for today. Thanks for watching this video patiently. Uh, Let me know what your feedback is regarding how I'm teaching, and through comments. If you like my video, please drop a like through the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.